Pretty good about yourself.
Can you start out by telling us a little bit about yourself?
Born and raised here in Chicago, grew up on 87th Street. I went to a school called St. Peter. In high school, I went to a place called Luther South that is now closed. Then for college, I went to the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. Right now, I'm a professor at UIC. I've been teaching over there for 15 years. I'm in the departments of Educational Policy Studies, and I'm also in the Department of African American Studies. I also do some work at a place called Social Justice High School. It's on 31st and Costner, and I've been over there for the last 10 years.
Okay. So I hear that you have 4 areas of investigates for your scholarship that you have. Can you tell us about that?
So in terms of the work that I do as a professor, as a researcher, one of the things is this thing called critical race theory. Now, the idea behind critical race theory is that we don't talk about racism in the United States. And because we don't, it makes it very difficult to enter a conversation about racism and how it operates as a system. So that's one area. Second area is school-community relationships. So what relationship does a school have to the community that it serves, whether it be the physical community in terms of the neighborhood or the people who are actually in the school? And actually, I shouldn't say or, but both. So how does a school serve community? How does a school serve the students in that space? The third area is this relationship between housing and school. So when housing changes in certain areas, so do the schools. So in a place like Chicago, what we're seeing, so with all these school closings and what have you, we're also seeing that in some areas, a different set of housing is actually occurring. So there's new homes being built, some homes being torn down, people being moved, and then that changes the population of certain schools. So I look at that, and then also the last area is youth culture. So how you all as young people engage with each other, how you all work for change, and then how you all organize. So actually looking at community organizing. So that's the fourth area. So those are the 4 things that I've been doing over the last 15 years, been looking at over the last 15 years here in Chicago. So that was a school that was started by a group of community folks in Little Village. So in 1997, the mayor actually came, so Daley actually came to the corner of 31st and Costner, and he gave a speech to kind of open up his campaign. He promised to build a school there. The school didn't get built between 1997 and 2000, but 2 other schools in other neighborhoods up north actually got built. So this is when Walter Payton got built, and this is when a school called Northside College Prep. So they both got built, but the school that was originally promised on 31st and Costner didn't get built. So the people from that neighborhood, Little Village, they said, well, look, our school was promised first, how come it wasn't built? The city responded in saying that they actually prioritized building Northside College Prep and Walter Payton, and the funds that they had actually secured to build the school had run out. So the family members were like, nah, we're not gonna let this happen. So they actually went to the school board and demanded that the school be built. School board said no. They went a second time. School board said no. They said, all right, look, we got to make this take a very serious action. So they actually went on a hunger strike for 19 days.
A hunger strike?
So they went without food. They were straight up just drinking water and like chicken broth for 19 days, protesting for them to actually get their school. So at this time, this guy named Paul Vallis was the CEO of Chicago Public Schools. He actually leaves during those 19 days. And then they bring in a new guy named Arnie Duncan, who's now the Secretary of Education. Duncan comes to the site, the campsite on 31st and Costner, and he says, okay, we'll get y'all to school. So from 2001 to 2003, it was all the stuff around planning the school. From 2003 to 2005, that's when they actually built the school. So the school is right now on the corner of 31st and Costner. And I was so I knew some of the hunger strikers. They called me up and said, look, we're doing this school, so we're thinking about some ways to do curriculum a little different. Would you work with us? I said, okay, cool, no problem. So they called me in, and then I became a member of the design team. So we set up curriculum. We worked with folks in terms of hiring teachers. We decided on the principal. So all that was with community members. So that was between 2003, 2005. So the first day of the school was September 5th, 2005. So it's been open since 2005. We're on our 7th graduating class. And it's an interesting moment to be in a school like that, especially with all the stuff that's happening here in Chicago. So that was how I actually came to that process.
Okay. So I noticed all your tattoos, like, so like when you like are approached to do like certain stuff, when you apply for stuff, like, does it really affect you a lot?
It's interesting. Like, some people are a little hesitant to speak to me. Some people, so I was in this thing yesterday, right around the corner at DavidStovall Museum, and I was giving a talk to, I don't know if they I don't know if that it's all, I think it, I can't, are they, where are they? So I actually went to a place yesterday, gave a talk, and everybody there was kind of in professional dress or what have you, and people were kind of looking at me, and I'm kind of used to it now, but people are always asking, like, what is he doing here? Who is he? Why is he here? Who is this person? So I'm kind of used to it now. Back in the day, I used to get aggravated by it, but now I'm used to folks having particular reactions to me. But at the same time, once I start to talk to folks, then I guess they are more at ease. But usually upon first sight, people will look and kind of be startled or start to wonder around whether or not I'm supposed to be in that place. Like, one of the things, a good friend of mine, we always crack this joke. So when I hear the words, "Can I help you?" I always think about that as somebody saying to me, "Are you supposed to be here?" Right? So that's kind of the code word. So when people say, "Can I help you?" I'm always like, really? Right? Kind of thinking about that, because I always think about them saying, "Are you supposed to be here?" Now, in some cases, that might not be the case. They might really be asking me, do I know where to go, what have you, but sometimes they're not. So I think that's how I engage the fact of just looking a little different than what people would expect. Mm-hmm.
So what's it like being an associate professor?
So it's interesting now, right? Because after when you get hired, they put you on this thing called a tenure track. And all that means is, if you get tenure, that's a job until you retire. So the job is guaranteed until you retire. So the first 6 years, you have to teach, do research, and then what they call service, which is really, it's not community service, but service to the university, service to the field of research, right? So that you have to do that, and then you fill out this paperwork after your 6th year. Well, I should say during your 6th year. So you fill out that paperwork. It takes a year for the process to happen, and then you start off as an assistant professor, and then if you get promotion and tenure, they move you to associate. So now, with me being there 15 years, I had to do that process all over again to go from associate to full professor. So I filled out the paperwork this summer. That process is going to take a year. So this time next year, I'll find out whether or not I made it to full. Yep. Well, I mean, I think my thing is always, if we look at what's happening in cities like Chicago and larger cities across the country and throughout the world, what's actually happening with schools, what's happening with young folks, and what's the idea or rationale behind doing it, right? So my classes talk about, so I have a class on race and racism in education. I got another class on youth culture, community organizing and education. I got another class on race, place, and schooling. And then I got another class on educational theory. So it's the ideas that actually contribute to the ways in which people teach and work in schools. So I think about all those places as being an opportunity for me to think about how to not only improve the current condition, but how do I work with other folks to improve that condition? And can we actually engage those types of things in the classes that I teach? So that's my approach to classes in terms of what I try to do when I'm in classes.
So you went to the University of Champaign?
Yep.
Tell me some more about your college life.
College life. Well, real talk, I almost did not make it out of my first year of college. Yeah, I will say it on camera, right? In terms of just, I went to school